Good evening, everyone. And this is the second in our mental health and wellbeing series, and it's part two of Jane's presentation last week. And I think you'll find it quite fascinating because I have been the guinea pig for the focusing session. So we have a pre-recording of that. And but first of all, Jane is going to explain to you about what focusing is all about. And I will hand you over to Jane.
Thank you, Caroline. Okay, so focusing was created by Jain, which came out of research of why some clients would move forward and some wouldn't move forward therapeutically. So he created these 6 steps to help people interact with their experience in a particular way to try and help the implicit in. So basically his philosophy is we're always in the process of becoming, we're always moving forward. And then sometimes parts of us get stuck, or what he would call a frozen state of experience where they stop moving forward. So with focusing, it helps them move forward and it helps that part get reconfigured back into the self. So in each problem or stuckness has always got a solution to move forward. It's just implicitly in there. So by using the focusing steps, it can then explicate it and symbolize it in experience. You can use this focusing, you can use for problems, to try and get new concepts, new theories from experience. You can work with dreams doing it because dreams are great because that's the only time really when things are symbolized in your experience. So they're really good to work with, dreams. Okay, might have rushed through that. So the 6 steps are, the first step is clearing the space. So clearing the space is getting the right distance between you and the situation. So what you do if you're focusing, you would bring a situation to mind. You would sense it, how it is in the moment in a whole fresh way, but you don't go into any of the detail of it because then you get into it. You need to be stepping back from it. So then the clearing of the space, you can't be too far. I think we looked at this last week. You can't be too far away from it or too near it. You've got to be just right to be able to interact with it. So, and focusing really is about you are on your edge of the awareness to try and get the implicit to come in and to symbolize so that you become more of your experience, you become aware of really. And it will show you what you need to move forward if you let the implicit come in. So the first step is clearing a space. The second step is getting a handle. So getting a handle is you'll sit by the situation, which will usually have a very unease around it because it hasn't moved forward. So you sit by the unease and you wait for something to come out of the unease. And what comes out of the unease gives you a handle on what is there. So what can come out, it can be a bodily sense. You could feel it in your body. You could get a sensation. You can get feelings, an image. Yeah.
Sorry, would you just repeat that, Jane? You haven't got a really good signal tonight. And just that last sentence, you checked out for a second.
Okay. So getting a handle can be anything. It's about being in that uneasy edge. If you get a situation, there'll be an unease around it and you sit by it to see what's making it uneasy, to see what comes out. So it's about pausing. This is where the pause comes in, and it can be in the body. Quite often you can feel it from here down to your solar plexus or your stomach, and that will give you that sensation. People can get knots or, so that will give you something to work on. That's a handle. Or it can come as an image. It can come as a word, a metaphor. Whatever comes is right. There's no right or wrong. You're just whatever comes you work with. So that's a handle. So once you've got a handle, then you use your cognitive mind to interact with what you're feeling and you resonate it. So let's say you got a word, you then get that word, go, is it that? Is that the word? And if you get this resonating and then it's like, that gives you a good feel, you've got the right word. We're very particular it's very particular about not quite the right word, or it is the right word. When you get the right word, it resonates and you shift forward. There's a shift just in getting the right word. Then when you've done that, what you can do is you can be with it. You use your cognitive mind to go down to the experience and you tap it and ask it questions to try and get forward movement out of it. What is making it so uneasy? Why is it feeling that? You know, you work with the word or the image or something that comes out of it. And then it's about receiving and getting a felt shift. And the felt shift you feel in your body, and it's a really good feel. So even if you're working on something quite hard, when it moves forward, it gives you a good feel. And sometimes you can get tears of that release sort of thing. So that's in a nutshell. Can you hear me all right still?
Just going back to what you were saying earlier about it might be a word, it might be a feeling, it might be a vision, that resonated with me because people have these different learning styles of visual, kinesthetic and auditory. So for me, I'm hugely visual, so this is how the session worked really well for me. Can I just backtrack and ask, there are no questions in the comments, but if anyone has anything left over from last week, or if you want to ask a question, or if you want to ask questions as we go through this, but this is a real live focusing session. So if you've got no questions, we'll get on with the film.
Okay.
I'll just give them a few seconds. It was strange when I was editing the replay from last week, because I had to put subtitles in because the aliens were here, but actually they brought back my webcam, so I'm quite happy about that. But I learned so much more. I heard so much more from the replay than I actually was hearing live. So I would say to anybody, definitely listen again, because it was quite deep. It was quite complex. And if you listen to the replay and you've got some thoughts, you can switch off, switch on again, because I found that was really helpful for me. Okay, we'll get on with the film now, because there doesn't appear to be any questions at the moment.
Okay. So it sounds like you've been rushing around, so it's just take a breath. So maybe actually just close your eyes for a minute. I'll do it with you. And just concentrate on your feet for a minute, just to ground you a little bit.
Does it matter if my feet are off the ground? Because I'm in my comfy chair in the conservatory and I can feel my legs against the chair.
Okay, so what I'd say is then just feel your hips supported by the chair, and go into that sort of relaxing feeling.
Yeah.
Just to sort of get you into your body and being aware of your body. Okay. So now bring in the situation that you want to focus on. Okay. And yeah. So get a sense of how the whole of the situation feels to you right now. Just get that fresh sense of it. And you'll notice there'll be that slight unease, that sort of feeling round that situation. So what I want you to do is then be by that unease, but find the right place. So this is the clearing the space. So not too close, but not too far, just so you're in that right space to be able to interact with it. Okay. So now sort of it's just what is then making that unease, and just pausing by that and seeing what comes out of that edge.
Well, originally, a minute ago, when we started, it felt like a massive breeze, well, more of a force, because breezes of wind are usually quite pleasant, but this was an unpleasant breeze.
Okay.
And it felt a bit like a whirlwind, because I've been rushing around for a couple of minutes and a bit frantic for the past hour. So yeah, so I feel like I've instead of being in the breeze or it being up close to me, I've stood back from it now.
That's good. And is the breeze, do you think, connected to the situation that you want to focus on? Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so then you're sitting by the breeze. What is, so it feels like a breeze. Anything else it feels like in there, or the, or
It's a force. It's circulating. It's almost like a tornado, but not quite that well defined. It's forward movement, but circular movement, because I love forward movement, but I don't like forward movement standing still.
yes. So then this hasn't got so much, this seems like a circular, so it's then going round and round, but actually what you're wanting is more forward movement.
Yeah.
With it. Okay. What is it that's going round?
Primarily, it's my PhD assignment, which the latest one, it's based on research and a very complex literature review. And it's really, it's not that I can't do it, although I felt like I couldn't, but it's something I have to do online and online, lots of them. And then if I sit and think for a while, then the university online library database, which is a little bit technical to get to, jumping through all these hoops and clicks and selections. And as I'm trying to organize myself, it's chucked me out by the time I get back to it. And it's so frustrating because I like the old pen and paper and books and having journal papers in front of me, but this modern living is breaking me up online at the moment.
Breaking up. So there's something about breaking up. There's
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That really, okay. Is it, what else? What bits gets broken up?
It's part of the day because I started on my work about my PhD work about 6 o'clock this morning, and so I felt quite organised. Then there was some interference from the phone and something pressing to do, and I'd sat down. Well, I was continuing with this PhD assignment, which involves selecting journals from this lit review that I'm selecting from a list of 62 down to 12 I've been tasked to do. And then a bird flew in the room, a little wren, so that had to be escorted out. Then a bee. Then I thought, oh, I think I'll go and clear my pantry. So instead of getting back on the task, this which needed quite a lot of psychological input and organisation, I thought, I can't do it. I'll just go to the pantry and clear that. There were some bits on the floor. So now I've got a clear pantry, and the assignment's still sitting there. I've done a first draft. The thing about searching for literature is it isn't structured, except I've been given a structured assignment to do with the literature reviewing, and I've got to explain the steps of my search, which is completely alien to me because usually it's a nice waft here and there around and into interesting things, and cherry picking what I really want to look at, but I'm being forced. And that's what the breaking is. I almost have to break something to get to it. And now I've got this swirl going on, which is getting better. Sorry for waffling, but it is. No. I'm getting relaxed now. Good.
So the swirl is flowing?
It is actually, yes. And it's getting warmer. It feels warmer.
Okay. And can you feel that? It doesn't matter if you can't, but can you feel that anywhere in your body, or any sensation in your body, the swirl? Or
No, I've detached from it quite well now.
Okay. Do you feel that I'm a bit confused. Is the swirl to do with actually, do we stay with the swirl, or is the swirl in the way?
Oh, it's in the way
Oh, it's in
now.
the way. Yeah. It's in the way. To stop moving? What does it need? What does the swirl need?
It's almost like it needs organising. It needs to calm down and take up its position in the room. I don't know why I said that, but in the room, I'd like it to go to the corners and perhaps keep out of my way instead of being stuck in front of me.
Okay, so then yeah. So then that goes back to the feeling of no forward movement because it's stuck in front of you. It's got that
Yes.
feel. So it's sort of blocking your way forward. Okay, so what it sounds like then the swirl is sort of made up of all your aspects, would you say? All these different parts of you that go into every day.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's spinning fast today.
It's fast, so it's going fast. So you're going fast, and that makes the swirl go fast. But
Yes.
it's slowing, so it's about slowing it down. And what does it need? So maybe tap it with this question of actually what does that need to be able for it to go out the way or to slow or to stop moving?
I'd really like to get to that assignment without distraction. It's distracting me.
Oh,
It's disturbed me. It's sort of fired me up, but not to get me to the mental space I need to get back to that complex and demanding assignment. And the assignment has a deadline. I need to get it done in about a week.
mm-hmm. So
Which is pushing it now. I need to get on with it now. And I wanted to have a really lovely break this weekend, this Easter weekend.
Time for you.
Yeah.
Okay. There's something in there about time, do you feel?
Yeah.
Okay. And then, so I'm wondering with the pantry, with your cleaning the pantry, is that sort of, do you think you did that is it a diversion or is it something of clearing a space before you can settle?
Oh, yes. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's like,
right.
yeah. What's that term in psychology where you're supposed to be do something else?
Displacement.
That's it. That's what it is. Yeah, I hadn't realised that, but
So
it's a lovely walk-in pantry that I couldn't quite walk into.
So could you then, is it metaphoric of sort of what you're feeling?
Yeah, I think I got this urge.
Too much going on. You can't even walk into your experience. It's going round in a swirl, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, it wasn't too bad, but it just had stuff on the floor, and I thought, well, look, just if you just move the things around the floor and organise it, which it really only took me 15 minutes, and I felt good after it.
How did you feel in the good? What was the good? Did you feel a bit more clearer, a bit more space?
I felt accomplished, and the fact that I'd done a job that I really needed to do for about a month, but just didn't.
That's got a good.
Yeah.
Actually, having that done, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So then it's being able to. Do you think the swirl needs to let go of these things to actually then focus on the one thing? Well, what does it need? What do you think that swirl that needs to go to the sides? You said you had that feeling.
Well, it's strange, but now that you say it, the image is that it's almost only focused on one thing, because it's a tornado, it's got a focus point
Oh, of course. Yeah, yeah.
below, which is generating its own force, and it is in the way. It is in front of me. It needs to stop swirling and just, I think, move somewhere else, but because I can't move a tornado. But
so it needs to either subside or move. But there's a sense there something else new is coming in. That there's a focus. There's a focus that is coming out of.
yes,
Can we sort of then be by that point of where it comes out of and see what that is?
It's this assignment that I'm not really worried about it, but it's complex, and I really cannot seem to find the space in the day without interruption to actually do it. I've sent husband out, I've sent the dog out with him. I've given him my phone so that nobody can interrupt me, or he can deal with it if they do. So I've tried to prepare a space, but I'm thinking, oh, it's the weekend. How am I going to get 4 lovely days of doing what I want to do when, well, at least I've got the pantry done. That makes me feel good, because I might have tackled that this weekend. And I'm feeling like I want to get to my assignment, but as soon as I'm finished here, something's going to disturb me, and I don't quite know how to stop that so that I can get the assignment, really a lot of it done perhaps today, or at least organised so I can see the way forward. I'd love to be able to do that today without any more interruptions, or without me. Yeah, maybe it's me saying, okay, I'm looking for a bit of displacement here, because I'd rather be doing something else than this.
Yes, I think there's something in there, isn't it, about there's a part of you which would like to have that Easter break.
Yes, please.
Yes. But then there's a bit of a conflict in there of actually there's another part of you going, actually, I need to do the work on my dissertation.
Yes.
Yeah. So then what that could do, that could then spiral. Yeah, as they're conflicting, they're sort of pulling each other around, maybe.
Oh, yes. Yeah. That feels accurate.
Does it? So that has a sort of a resonation there.
Okay.
What does what does that need? So you've got 2 things pulling you.
I can see that I would like it to turn into like a normal breeze that's going away from me. So it's perhaps moving towards that deadline, which to me, it feels I can go with that.
So then as you're saying it, then I get the sense of actually let the breeze work with you.
Yes. Yeah.
So it's a little bit like if you're walking on a breezy day, if you walk into the wind, it's gonna take more energy, and you've got that resistance to go into it. But if you've got the breeze behind you,
yes,
it's got that sort of support and that pushing forward.
Yes. And I feel that that's the assignment that needs pushing forward towards the deadline, rather than swirling around in front of me where I can't get round it, or it's just there.
Yeah, so there's something there. There's no way around it.
No, not today.
So in that, there's a sort of a facing it, maybe, do you feel? Is that a sense of that, of actually, instead of doing the distractions of getting caught up in the whirlwind, it's actually maybe focusing more on the point of where the whirlwind is coming from?
Yes,
maybe?
Definitely. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. What does the feeling of, so if we sit by the point of it, what is the feel of that point?
It's extremely focused. So where a tornado might cover 100 meters or 50 meters, this got an enormously pointed focus.
Concentrated focus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so do you then feel that that is actually then the space that you need to be in, is actually that point of focus?
Yes, I'm happy there. Whereas now I'm finding I'm looking down to, I can't see the focus. I don't know what yet that it's focusing on. So earlier I was looking up at this cone, inverted cone shaped swirling of wind and breeze, and now I'm looking down and seeing a point, a focus.
Not sure what it is.
No, not at the moment.
Okay, so let's sort of be by that point, just pause by that point a little bit and see what it's focusing on, or what the focus should be on, maybe.
Yeah. This is so weird. It's turned into a doll's house.
Oh, okay, a shift.
I don't know what that is.
Okay, something about a doll's house has come out of this. What does the doll's house look like? Is it what's the feel of this doll house?
It's closed. It's pretty. It's wooden. It's not open. It's got a front. I could slide the front open, so I don't really know what's in there. It's a doll's house. It's not a real house. It's a very almost an adult doll's house, so not for playing with.
Okay, so it's a very pretty sort of doll's house, but there's this sense straight away as you can't see the way in.
Yes.
Okay. Do you then get a sense needing to go into the doll's house to find the point? Or not? What is your sense? What is your sense of this doll's house? What is its forward movement?
I think actually here's a strange one. If it was a real house, I could go in, but I can't go into that because it's too small. It's too focused almost.
It's too focused. Yes. Yeah. So does it need to get bigger? Does the focus need to expand for you to be able to actually get into it? Because at the moment, it's so tiny. Yeah.
Because it's model size, it really actually what I need to be able to feel I can do is get into my own house and shut the door and do this assignment.
Yes. So this is space for you.
Yes.
This could be metaphoric of actually your own experience, and you need to get in there and put the boundaries in place.
Yes.
And you put some in place to do with your husband, the dog, and some practicals and the phone going, but something about yourself, I think.
Yeah. And normally they wouldn't distract me this much, but now, because now I have to, these 12 pieces of academic journal, I have to focus on all of them. But I've been tasked to find these 12 and critically appraise them, which is not, I don't have a problem with that, but I feel like I need to be completely shut away to do that, and everything's conspiring, or I'm feeling sensitive to the distraction.
Yeah. Do you think that's resistance? Do you think the conspiring is your resistance?
Oh, that's very interesting, because I understand that when this distraction, this displacement, and just randomly clearing the pantry today, or the floor of the pantry. And there's some resistance there, because I could have got on with my work this morning, but I just thought, oh, pantry needs clearing.
It's got this sort of feeling then of something's a bit reluctant. It's got this reluctance. I'm putting it together with, well, it's the Easter holidays coming up. This was time for me.
Yes.
This is the part that's reluctant.
Yeah. Yes.
I wanted time to do my pantry and clear things away, and time for me. Okay. But there's this other part then in there going, I need to focus. I've got 12 things to focus on there. And that's hard. Yes. And that I need all your focus.
Yes, that's it. Yeah.
There's something, as you were saying it a little bit while back, I was sort of getting the feeling of the eye of the storm. Yeah. I don't know if that resonates at all, but just try and be in that eye of the storm where you get that calm and you get that peace. And even though you've got stuff going around you, you don't get affected by it. You can maintain that focus and keep in that calm.
Yes.
So maybe actually that could be another shift, that sort of meaning to the point. It's actually the focus that you need for that. Is that point, is that it can't be lots of points. It's got to be just that one focus.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you feel then, what can you do with the resistance? There's some resistance there, or the part that is uncomfortable with doing that. It's slightly sort of kicking up a little bit, creating a bit of a tornado.
Yes. Yes.
What does that need? What does that need to create that calm? To go into that doll's house and to actually be able to shut all the doors of your aspects and actually I'm focusing on this aspect. What does that need?
I think, now that you've mentioned resistance, I think I should take that on board and just, maybe it's like blocking out the diary, but I want to block out the afternoon.
No, that goes back to the doll's house, isn't it? It's actually, you need these walls there.
Yes.
So the walls could be made of.
Yes.
So it's a blocking, it's a conscious intent.
Yes. Yeah.
How does that feel?
Yeah, that feels really good. That feels like a solution, because having come into the conservatory today and my comfy chair, and whereas earlier I just chose to not sit in the office but sit in the dining room, I thought, well, I'll be near the kettle, and my pantry door was opposite me.
Calling you.
Yes. So I think if I now move my work, my focus, I'm in the conservatory, which means that the dog can't get to me. Yeah, I'm sort of outside the house, but still in it, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So I can contain myself, and potentially I can work in the conservatory, and I've got my comfy chair and my laptop. Yeah, I think it's where to work is the problem.
So I'm going back to, it's a bit like the doll's house, actually. It's which room should you go in? It's got that finding the right room that will, so that you've got those solid walls around you, not to be disturbed. And there's something in there about yourself, isn't it? About actually putting those walls sort of around you of the distractions maybe as well, because I think it can be a bit, your mind could go into, well, I just do that, before you know it, you're up in the garden doing something. Yeah.
Yes, I'm not intending to clean the pond out today. That's quite near. No.
Okay. Okay, so is it then about being with the part that needs to study and wants to really concentrate down on one focus? It's then being with the part that's resisting as well, isn't it? Of actually just getting it to calm down and focus with it.
Yes, because now that you mention it, I could feel the wanting, the needing to do it, but I had not I'd not accepted that there was resistance there, because I'd rather really like to not be doing it. I'd like to really enjoy my weekend. I'd like to wallpaper my kitchen.
Okay, so what does this part need from you to go? Well, it needs to sacrifice, doesn't it? It needs some sort of, because it can't do what it wants to do at that time.
Yeah, yeah.
So do you need to negotiate with it? What do you think you need for this bit to actually accept that it can't actually it can't go out and play?
I think what would help if I set some kind of target, because the assignment doesn't have to be handed in tomorrow. I've still got a week, or just over a week on it. I've got all of next week. So I think I could probably make a deal with myself and say, well, yeah, you can enjoy the weekend. Stop panicking about this assignment. And perhaps if I got a certain amount of it done, if I got the next phase of it done and really worked on that, then it could take the pressure off and stop this swirling.
Okay. What is the swirling doing now? What is it still swirling? Or are you in the doll? Is it the doll's house? Where? What?
The swirl is in front of me, but it's got calmer, and it's got broader, so that it's got more space to actually go off in front of me.
Okay, so the charge is a little bit. The charge, the sort of charge of the tornado is slightly sort of, it's getting broader, but it hasn't got as much force, maybe?
Yes, and I guess the broader it gets, the less force and power there is there.
Not so intense.
Yes.
So there's something about, as you were saying, that is it like a bargaining with the part of actually, okay, we can do, I'm going to have time for this part as well, but it's got to be the right time. And maybe it's like a reward system.
Yes.
Of actually, so it's a bit like a structure of, right, we're going to put this in a structure where I do the work and then I can go and play. Then the other part of you can come out and have a bit of free time. Yes,
because I feel good that the pantry is organised, or that I did it, that I achieved it in only 15 minutes.
That's good.
So yeah, might win. But you know, the assignment, I can't just say, well, that's not going to, because just breathe and slow down from the swirl of this morning, and just stay in my quiet space. Like now I'm in a really quiet, serene space. Stay in this space and get back on the assignment now, or when we or shortly after we finished. And then I think I could work on that for the rest of the day, so that the holiday that is tomorrow, I could look at doing something for me.
Yeah. So there's something about, instead of it being into conflict, it's bringing it into balance.
Yes.
That feel, isn't it? Actually, is balance these out so that both feel they've got forward movement. They can both go.
Yeah. Because it is an enjoyable assignment. It's not that I don't want to do it, or I'm almost frustrated because I want to, that's part of the enjoyment, if you know what I mean. Well, if I can get a flow back on it, I will enjoy it.
Oh, but that tells you something, isn't it? Is actually what you need for this space is to actually, it's the flow in for you to then get into the flow, which has got a very different feeling than a tornado.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you do enjoy this. It's reminding yourself that you enjoy it, but you just need, I think you've gone out of the flow of it.
Yes.
Because
Yes.
you've been going in the tornado and doing other things, but it's now
Yes.
settling down and then feeling that flow and then letting the flow go through you to be able to do the work.
Definitely.
And what feel does that have of the flow going through you?
Oh, it's calm. It's warm and fuzzy, and like it's like sunlight coming into your conservatory that's not too hot.
Lovely. That's good. That's got a good feel to it.
Yeah.
So maybe just sit in that feel for a minute of actually the sunlight that's just coming in, this sort of fresh air coming in now.
Yeah, it's become fresh air rather than swirly and forcey and.
Then I'm going back to what you said a little bit, connecting with the breeze needs to come from behind or needs to be sort of supporting you. Then that resonates with that a bit, does it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
So the position with the flow.
Yes.
So flow's working for you, not going round and round in circles.
Yes.
What is, can you see the tornado or feel it, or has it shifted and turned?
It's shifted. It's almost as tornadoes do. They go away off into the distance. So it's gone. It's moved on now, and I've got the calm breeze and the warm sunshine. It's like walking into a conservatory. So you come out of the cool house, and in the conservatory it's always warmer.
So with that, then it makes me think that's the place you want to sit.
Yes.
You don't want to sit in the cold room. You want to sit in the nice warm room.
Yes.
So then that gives a rightness of place.
Yes.
Okay. What do you feel now? Do you feel that that's in a place where you want to finish it, leave it, or do you feel there's more forward movement that you need to get from this?
No, I feel very much like it's stopped me, in a good place, and that it's the choice of room that I work in rather than the choice of extra quiet room and feeling almost isolated from the main house, which will get me the peace and the space to just regroup and just get back into that assignment and sit in the conservatory for several hours and just to get more progress done. And I feel like I'll be in a bit more flow, and that will work for me in this space rather than in the house, distracting myself with birds flying in and whatever else.
The unpredictable.
The unpredictable. Yes. Yes.
Do you feel that the house and the rooms could also be metaphoric of where you dwell within yourself?
Yes.
So it's actually getting that settledness deep within your being of actually this is the position I need to be in.
Yes.
Which is that calm, and then I guess when you get the distractions coming in, it's sort of getting that wall there of actually to maintain that focus. And I think the flow of going through you will actually then, that will give you that direction of forward movement because it will flow. Yeah.
Yes, because I'm sure of where I want to go, where I want the breeze to take me, and that's back to the assignment. But yeah, it's being in the right mental space as well to get on with it.
And the mental space is that decluttering, that actually just sort of, pushing everything else out, all the other aspects of yourself, to actually focus on the aspect of yourself that then writes the dissertation.
Yes. Yes.
And I think it's reminding yourself there as well, isn't it, of actually, that's a good place to be. That's a warm place. That's a place you want to be.
Yeah. Oh, yes.
Is there more of a wanting now to be there? Is there sort of a, oh, I just want to settle into my nice warm seat and...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Do you think the resistance now gone? Do you feel that that's subsided?
Yeah, it's gone. I think the tornado just, it caused a bit of panic in me, I think, and I couldn't stop it. Because you can't, and I don't like not being able to stop things. So yeah, I feel the resistance gone, and I feel no, the solution is such, and get on with my work here and feel like I'm closed away. I'm still in the house, but out of it, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. And that's the position you need to be in. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
So then does that have a rightness to it? Yeah.
Feels like there's chance of getting some flow today.
Okay. Best chance, or do you think it will
Best chance as long as I don't get up.
No, but that's maybe saying what you need is don't let the other part of you get up.
Yes. Wow, yeah.
So then I think when it comes in and it suddenly you maybe get a thought going, well, I just need to clean out the pond. You just go, no, I'm not getting up.
Not getting up.
And it does with that, then it has that stillness and solidity, hasn't it, actually, is no, you can't push me that way or that way. I'm just staying still, not moving.
Yeah. Yeah.
Finding your place.
Yes.
And that's within and without.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So do you feel that that's a place to finish, or?
Yeah, that's super. Yeah, I feel like I just really want to get on with my work now because it's all quiet and calm. And I'm quiet and calm. Yeah, I feel motivated.
So that's what you need when there's a storm or tornado kicks up. You need to find that room where you can feel that sunshine, that warmth, and that flow coming through you of the forward movement. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So then, if you feel that's sort of a good place to finish, you can revisit it at any time.
Yeah.
It's there for you, you can let it know that you'll listen to it. And then bring your awareness to your feet for a minute. And then just grounding in, feeling, oh no, because you haven't got your feet on the ground. I remember you feel your hips on the chair. And just feel yourself coming back into the room a bit, and that's supported by the chair. And that's just when you're ready, it's opening your eyes and coming back into the room a bit more.
Lovely. It's so weird. My focus is really strong now.
Excellent.
On the outside, it's like vivid. I've got a vividness about me.
Clarity. A clear focus.
Clarity. Yeah.
And atmosphere.
Yeah. That was great.
Excellent.
I just wasn't expecting the images.
Okay.
Well, just to give you a very quick follow-up before Jane takes over again, I sat there with my assignment, happily working for 5 hours. So the problem I thought I had wasn't the true problem. I was resentful of it being the Easter holidays and lovely weather, and I had a lovely, lengthy, complex assignment to do. But it was my environment which was affecting my ability to clear that obstacle. The environment was the obstacle. So somehow I got to figuring out that I wanted to be out for the holidays. So the compromise was actually being in the conservatory, and it was really nice and it was lovely and warm. So there I sat. Anyone got any questions about that? And I'll hand back to Jane. By the way, there was absolutely no hypnosis involved there, just in case it looked like it. Absolutely none at all. No questions.
Wow. Okay.
What do you think then? Any feedback? Do you think you might like to try that? Because it does work best when you have got somebody having dialogue with you and really exploring these sorts of problems. I mean, yeah, a question. I didn't catch the beginning. What is the system called?
Focusing. So it's focusing, and there are 6 steps to focusing. If you wanted to do it yourself, Jain writes a very self-help little book on focusing where he really simplifies it. If you are doing it on yourself, as Caroline said, there needs to be a dialogue, and it's quite good to do it with somebody else. But if you are doing it on yourself, you have to create this dialogue with yourself. So you internalize it and you have this interaction with yourself.
Can you spell his name, please?
Yes. Jain. So it's EUGENE, and Gendlin is GENDLIN. So he was sort of comes out of the person-centered sort of humanistic approach.
There are some films, some really good films on YouTube about him and his method, but it is just so powerful. It's really good, especially I think if you like imagining and you like feeling and you really want to know what you're thinking or what your subconscious is doing, because as you know, so much of the subconscious, it's subconscious, so we're not aware of it. And yet we have, as you were saying last week, Jane, the inner critic. This is what we hear quite clearly. She says, great, thanks. So, yeah, I'll let you, as there's no questions, I'll let you round up the session, perhaps go through, give us a connection between what we talked about last week and what we did this evening. And yeah, if they can, whether or not you're available to be contacted about this so that they can have a session.
Yes, you could if you want a session and try it. I do Zoom in this age since COVID restrictions. Zoom has I do face-to-face as well, and telephoning might be a little bit hard with focusing. It's quite good to sort of have an image or actually be able to see you. Yep. So if you wanted to contact me, you can do it through, I'm on quite a few counselling websites and have my own website. Yeah.
I'll pass that on again with the replay. I just wondered if anybody had any feedback about perhaps they could actually hear their inner critic and perhaps what they did about it this week, because certainly for me, it was so powerful to find that, well, you can do this as long as you get out of the house. I dragged an old caravan out from under the bushes, and I spent my bank holiday weekend clearing it up. And cleaning it and really sprucing it up. Now that I put it under a lovely willow tree, that is my space, which I know, not everybody's fortunate to have that kind of space, but maybe if you're a saddle fitter, it's your workshop. Maybe your workshop needs a little bit more enrichment. And so, yeah, definitely, I think, and I touched on it last week, that if you think you've got a problem, especially if it's to do with getting space, I think instead of thinking of starting with the to-do list, I think you need to start with your actual me space, your enriched space, wherever that is. It's personal to everybody, and enrich it some more. So, and then from there, you get the power and the motivation, as I mentioned, to actually move the obstacle, get past the obstacle, which was the theme of these 2 sessions. Oh, another question, can you do it for yourself?
Yes, you can. As I said, you could do focusing on yourself, but you would have to create that internal dialogue and really sort of talk to yourself to getting the resonating. So you'd have to sort of, a little bit like what me and Caroline were doing, you would sort of have this sort of interaction going on. So what you do is you use, if you're doing it yourself, well, if you're not doing it yourself, you use your cognitive mind, and we're used to getting the answers from here, but what you're doing is you're bringing it down to actually focus on the edge of awareness. So, I mean, what is the mind? It's the mind can be in the body everywhere. But we're used to being in our heads and going and trying to get the answer, but we want something fresh to come in. So this is where you work with the implicit and on the edge of the awareness to try and get something new in. So yes, you can do it yourself, or you can find a focusing trainer or somebody or a therapist who can help you do it.
Yeah, because it sounds like a really innovative way of counseling, because that is what it is, because you're manifesting something, dealing with it, moving on and feeling good about it. And I think an amount you have to be able to trust yourself, because we're so used to this inner critic being right that, can you actually be right about, oh, look, there's a doll's house. What on earth does that mean? I'll just dismiss it. So it means finding the meaning of the symbols that your subconscious symbolizes.
Yeah, very well put. It's the felt meaning behind the symbolism. Yes. And that really has that real deep feel, doesn't it, when you get that resonation? Yeah.
Yes, and it is good. I did feel the clarity. I did feel the motivation. And as I say, it took me into the weekend. And also in that 5 hours, I blasted my way through that assignment. I actually got it done on Tuesday instead of the deadline of Thursday. So, and I really breathed through it, and it really lasted me. The power and the effects was a couple of days, and I've learned from it. So I've learned now that I can either go to my caravan if I want total focus, isolation, whatever I need, or I can go to the conservatory. But I've got to get out of the house, but not necessarily away from it, but just to get my own little bubble going there, my own enriched space. Very important.
I think what you just said earlier about the rational mind, let's say, if the dollhouse and it goes and it could dismiss it, you've got to put your rational brain aside. It can think about it afterwards as much as it likes. It's a bit like meditating. You've got to keep just letting that go, so that you've got to be able to really listen to the more intricate things that are going on in your experience, because the rational mind is louder. So you've got to you got to put that aside, or you use that to actually do the interaction with.
Yeah. Yeah, all very fascinating stuff. If psychology fascinates you, then yeah, this is a really good technique. And as I say, it's not like counselling in its true form, where you tell your problems and someone's there saying, there, how do you feel? This is really getting answers to move your obstacles, and only you know what you need and what you want, I think. So it's just a matter of getting it out, negotiating with yourself. And I think it does take about that 45 minutes to an hour, although I guess if you practiced it, you could get it sooner, but you do need the quiet space, the grounding. We've got a comment. Really, really interesting. Yeah, it is. It's amazing what these symbols come up with, because your brain, it doesn't invent them, it manifests them, I think.
Yeah. And being a therapist doing focusing, and some of the things that have come out of people's experiences are so unpredictable. I mean, it's fantastic. It's so fascinating, and you just got to be you got to be able to work in the moment of how to. So what I try and do when I'm with people is really sense what their experiential track is, which is you're experiencing being able to move forward, and that's the main thing. The main thing is your process. So these steps are very loosely done, but the main thing is to get your process to move forward. That takes the center stage, sort of thing.
Right. So you don't dwell in the pain. You just say, okay, what's needed to deal with that pain, if it's pain. So so obviously maybe I was a bit traumatized at the beginning of that session, but what about people with trauma? Are they likely to come up with something, if they're going to try this? Are they likely to come up with something really scary, or something that really freaks them or spooks them? What sort of...
You can. I mean, I've had people coming up with some very scary images, some pretty bad images. And what you need to remember when you do get something a bit scary, don't be scared of it, be with it, and it will change. It will change into something else. It's got what Caroline said, that felt meaning behind it. That's what you're trying to get at. So when you're working with dreams as well, it's working with the symbolisms of dream, the symbols of dreams, to actually get what is that felt sense? What is that felt meaning behind that symbol? And you can sometimes get dreams to continue by working with it to see what it needs to move forward.
Wow. So what's the... I'm fascinated. What's the oddest thing that you could repeat, or the strangest thing, or someone perhaps who came to you really, really traumatized or low, or what? Can you give us a great story to finish with?
The one that comes to mind, which I think was the most very distressing, this was quite a few years ago. She had a very bad car crash and lost all her family. And she was a counsellor before, and the counsellor just couldn't handle it because it was too hard to deal with. So I thought that was really bad, because how could she deal with it if the counsellor can't deal with it? So anyway, so he worked with a dream, a nightmare that she kept repeating and repeating and repeating. And by working with the dream and seeing what it needed to move forward, she then shifted. So I mean, that was quite amazing. Very simple, but she'd got stuck with, and the dream was symbolizing that.
I bet she got stuck. My God, how does anyone get over? How does anyone move forward from that?
Yeah.
Awful.
And some of it, I've had people, they being hanged, some really quite sort of graphic things that comes out of it. But then you find the felt sense behind it, and then it moves forward. So if you be friendly with it, be friendly and go, okay, this is just, it's like a nightmare then, isn't it? It's symbolized experience, and it will move forward if you give it that space. Don't be scared of it.
So I think what you reminded me of there was that our fear is worse than almost anything that can happen, and that's probably why some of this stuff manifests as fearful, because we are often, it's like, what's a horror story on TV? It's just on the television, but I can get myself into quite a state about these things so that it's really, my fear is worse than the actual situation, my fear of it, so that someone else might, not feel that fearful at all. And just very quickly, what was so profound last week that I couldn't remember what it was. And I started feeling really sorry for myself during last week's session, and the replay, I've actually replayed the bit that got me going there. I felt so sorry for myself, almost like I was this little child, and that you were saying something about saying no, the voice, just say no to that. And I thought, I'm not listening to myself saying no. I'm not listening to this little child asking for something, or asking for not to have something happen. And I just felt so sorry for myself. And I thought, I must start really listening to when I say no to myself, and I need to deal with that, really, because it seems to be a problem that I don't listen to myself.
Well, I mean, the key there, isn't it? It's being aware in the moment as well, which people find very hard to do. And be gentle on yourself. You might be aware in the moment, and then you're not, and then you're aware half an hour later, and that's good. Don't start being critical of yourself. It's just really, really trying to be aware in the moment. And we come in and out of that, don't we? It's hard to do it all the time because we get wrapped up with your environments, and
And also something else that was really did make sense last week was when you were saying about that we should talk to ourselves. So don't let the inner critic be so nasty to ourselves. Change it so that you're talking to a friend, or you're having a friend talk to you, or you talk to the friend. You would never speak to people the way you speak to yourself.
Yeah, it's good. It's a good thing I find with clients, because you can really, really quickly get that, can't you? It's okay. How would a best friend talk? How would I talk to best friend? You can get that in the moment. Some people will also go fact or fiction. So you've got that supervisor to go, that's not, I'm not listening to that. Yeah.
Right.
Being in control experience.
Just something very, very quickly. Sorry, I'm stealing your time here. You've got to say no. About the children, it really concerns me that if perhaps an adult has a traumatic experience, that people, they don't consider perhaps that the child should be brought to the GP or whatever and told about mental health, because the NHS at the moment is putting a lot of money into mental health. So if anybody feels that they need some professional input, then don't hesitate to ask your GP, and you could find that you get half a dozen sessions. You might have to wait for them, but you could get yourself started with that. Have some focusing in the meantime while you're waiting. But definitely, and if your kids have got any issues and they're not great at expressing them, or perhaps they express them in a different way, then no reason why they can't have some sessions and start talking to themselves like they're the best friend. So, well, thanks a million for that. I loved that deep dive. I really loved the focusing. It was just amazing. And
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. And if nobody's got any questions, we will end the broadcast.
Okay.
And hopefully you'll come back to us again.
Yes,
And,
enjoyed it.
Yeah, we've really enjoyed it. Okay. Thank you very much. Good night.